Well, hello and welcome to the Geekend Live. Your Thursday starts here wherever you are on this football, the round type that we call planet Earth. And we're going to discuss the week's Star Wars news. Actually, there ain't any, but we're going to discuss it or something anyway. So let me tell you before I come over to the chat. In this week's alleged entertainment, we will try and discuss a few things that I've stumbled across online, the things that I can publicly tell you about, including the coolest Star Wars Game Boy mashup that I've ever seen. Exclusive for you here. And there's also a fan made documentary on YouTube that isn't new, but I stumbled across it recently. It's not mine, by the way. Going to tell you about that. And also some good old speculation as well regarding the Kenobi series. But let me just pop over to the chat because this is maybe the most interactive Star Wars show on the YouTubes. We involve you a lot, the Geekenders, who are here live and also watching in the future, aka on the replay. So drop us a comment if you are a future dweller viewer type. All right, over in the comments, I can see Spitfire Mark. 1A is here. I see Anders Layers there. Hello there to you. Simon D is in the house, as is David Milano. Also, Jane Flakes, Gaz Nottingham, and I did see Clay's here earlier, but I think he was here really, really early on his own. It was so long ago that YouTube's actually removed the comment from the chat. But I know Clay's is back. Clay's is back. There he is with a hey there. Some more kind of informal hello there. Obi-Wan's gone cash. Also, Power Droid Girl is here as well. Star Wars Mega, the best gaming news ever. I can play the new Star Wars Lego game as myself, a Gonk Droid. There we go. There we go. We have got one happy Power Droid Girl in the house. Spitfire Mark, have you only just subscribed? You've been here for a while. It's taken you this long, or taken me this long to earn your subscription, but thank you nevertheless. Phil Hawkins is here as well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. And also, Simon D says some Star Wars news on Empire Online. You were berating Empire Online last week, weren't you? John Watts, who did the recent Spider-Man films, is attached to a new Star Wars series. Is this a new Star Wars series that we know about, or a new Star Wars series that we don't yet know about? Right, okay, everybody. Let's bring up the first little bit of nugget that I have for you in this week's alleged entertainment. As said at the top, there ain't no news really. I'm scratching the barrel. We do this quite a lot. We probably will be doing it quite a lot until Kenobi starts running. But hey, it's good just to hang out, isn't it? So, just chat amongst yourselves in the chat. Tell me what you're up to. Rob Heaton, good to see you, mate, as well. All right. Okay, some good old speculation now. I'm going to bring up a web page. Here is the web page from Gizmodo. So, yeah, like I say, good old speculation. And it's that old Palpatine might well show up in Kenobi, the series coming to Disney Plus. The question is, should he? Will he? Oh, and I planned a little clip to play before I started this exciting segment. Hang on, let's play it anyway, even though it's kind of had its moment already. We're going to play it anyway.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Just for the hell of it. Right, okay, so this is on Gizmodo. Actually, they're taking a quote from a Metro interview that Ian McDermott did, and Star Wars Newsnet ran it as a story. So, Ian McDermott stated it's not impossible, or nothing's impossible with Emperor Palpatine. It's not impossible Emperor Palpatine could return in the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus. He said so in a recent interview with Metro. So here is a quote from Mr. McDermott himself. I think I have to accept that, thanks to my ungrateful granddaughter, Rey Skywalker, my annihilation was finally final. But of course, Vader is back in the new Obi-Wan Kenobi television series, so I suppose it's not impossible that one day his mentor might be discovered once again skulking in the shadows. Now, first of all, in terms of his comments, for me, this doesn't feel like a slip of the tongue. You know, I think he's just saying that the fact that Star Wars are exploring this timeline where it's perfectly acceptable and possible for Palpatine to be involved means that they may well explore this timeline again in the future where he is actually involved. I don't think it's a slip of the tongue where he's saying, hint, hint, I'm involved now, baby. I don't think that's necessarily the case. However, on the other hand, it would make sense for him to be in this series, right? Because from what we've seen so far in terms of concept art, mostly, we're going to be spending more time with Vader than initially thought. And there's one image of him, concept art, talking or at least viewing some kind of hologram image. Could be him communicating with Palpatine. You know, if we're spending more time with Vader, of course, Palpatine, as Ian McDermott himself, is going to be skulking in the shadows. It could just be communication via hologram, which is, of course, how we were visually introduced to the Emperor back in the day in Empire. So, yeah, it would make sense. It made a lot less sense to have him in the sequel trilogy, or at least in The Rise of Skywalker. And I love Palpatine, by the way. I think he's a fantastic character, one of, the all-time great villains in movie history. He's totally, genuinely evil. He's also fun with his evil. He has fun lines. Ian McDermott, both as, Senator, Chancellor, and Emperor, has been fantastic. The appearance in The Rise of Skywalker it didn't really work for me. I'm not saying it undid any of the love I have for the character either, but it wasn't quite explained well enough in the film. I know there's been a bit more detail revealed in books and what have you. So yeah, made less sense in my opinion to have him there in the sequel trilogy in the end, but it would make sense for him to at least have a cameo in the Kenobi series, wouldn't it? But again, I don't think Ian McDermott has made a mistake and accidentally revealed he's in this series. Again, I think he's just saying that it's possible somewhere down the line that Palpatine could show up again within this time frame or an equally relevant time frame. Would you like to see Palpatine in Kenobi? Would it be a bit too much for you? Are you more interested in spending time with Kenobi? Perhaps a more intimate series, and also meeting some of these new characters, of which there is going to be a lot because most of the cast has been announced. Right, let's pop over to the chat and see what you guys think. The last comment I saw was Bo Shudder from Rob Heaton. Is there any news on Lightspeed tonight, Jane Flakes? I did mention this the other week that I need to stop the edit. The edit is just a nightmare. I've got some framing issues that I've got to do. So masking issues that I've got to do because Ramirez had some sort of issue with his skin. If it was a human playing him, then that human was me. It would be like a bowl cap, sort of peeling off. And because I'm a little bit weird with stuff like that, I've got to mask it out frame by frame. So I don't want to give a release date that I can't commit to, because I've done that a lot in the past, but you will be the first to hear on Patreon anyway. Simon D, yeah, Empire Magazine is like the mafia. I try and get away, but keep getting pulled back in. Pape, FCW, hello to you, Oppo and Sissis and Glenn. Formerly the Geeky Hippie is in the house. Right, on to Palpatine from Jane Flakes here. We want more Palpy Boy. I would love a show where we spend the day with him, see him doing housework, feeding the loft cat, throwing Jedi out of windows. Yeah, that would be cool, man. I want a Palpy Cribs kind of show, yeah? I'm all for more Palpatine. It didn't quite work in Rise of Skywalker for me, but I'm all for more Palpatine generally, and use Ian McDermott while we can. It's getting on a bit. I met him... Sorry for the banging in the background. I haven't quite learned what shut the F up is in Spanish yet, but there's some building work going on in the block I'm staying in. I met Ian McDermott a good few years ago, and he was with it mentally, but he was, he was pretty frail. He's getting on. He was a nice guy. Spitfire Mark, Palpatine was best in Jedi, too much of a comic villain in the sequels. Yeah, I mean, arguably you could say he was almost pantomime villain-esque in Revenge of the Sith as well, when he had his turn, physical turn, if you like. But it works for me, man. It works. Glenn says, I'd love a prequel series based on a younger Sheev and Plagueis. Well, maybe we'll get that with the Acolyte series. This is Gaz Nottingham now saying, crazy fact, Ian McDermott is younger than Harrison Ford. Okay, so he ain't getting on compared to Harrison Ford then. I'd say he has plenty of time to make various cameos appearances in upcoming content. Yeah, and of course, with all that makeup on, we're making him look older than he actually is anyway, aren't we? Of course, and vocally, he's definitely still got it. Chad Campbell, Chad the Stopwatch Campbell. Mate, I don't think there's going to be any worry about doing a show longer than 30 minutes today because there's nothing to talk about. He says he's in a meeting now and can't have sound on, but he's here in spirit and he's doing his thing. Timekeeping, 22 minutes remaining. All right, Simon D. The mysterious new Star Wars series. This is the one that Simon mentioned from Empire Magazine with John Watts connected to, rumored to be connected to. Has the code name Grammar Rodeo and possibly connected to the High Republic era with a younger teen cast. John Watts rumored to direct. That's definitely an era I think they're going to be focusing on a lot. To be honest, what eras aren't they going to be focusing on moving forward with Disney Plus? Rob Heaton says, in Rebels, what's Rebels? First I've heard of it. Vader talks with Palpy via hologram and wants to go after Kenobi in person. But Palp says, send an Inquisitor. I bet we'll see the fulfillment of that somehow. That's interesting. Still don't know what you're talking about by Rebels, but that's interesting. That's cool. And that makes, that makes sense as well. I like that. Maybe we are going to get a Palpy cameo. More about this mysterious show called Rebels from Power Droid Girl now. Palpy was up to mischief in Star Wars Rebels, and without spoiling it for our leader, he has an agenda that would tie into the Ahsoka series, possibly. Okay. All right. Saying that, when is the Ahsoka series set? Does that work with the timeline of Palpy? Palpy? Not sure it does it? Unless it's the kind of him behind the scenes preparing for his comeback in the sequel trilogy. Yeah, I'm confused. Maybe I need to actually watch this new devilry that you speak of, Star Wars Rebels. Dave Malala says, I love the Hobbit handwave list of things as an explanation for Palpatine's return. McDermott was great in the UK version of Utopia. I've not seen that, actually. He's doing a lot of stage work. He has still got it. Ian McD clearly loves the role and Star Wars community. Him and Mark Hamill, great brand ambassadors. Bring him on board. Yeah, I agree. I spent a bit of time with him, like I said. Unfortunately, could only do limited Star Wars stuff with him. I was actually doing something about a theatre play he was doing, and it was many years ago for BBC Radio. And the Star Wars stuff was on a hard drive that was exterminated accidentally, which is a shame. But I've got a picture of him still with me old hair on, the old wig. But yeah, definitely a great brand ambassador. I've seen clips of him, hosting or being part of panels at various Comic Cons, and he's a great storyteller, and he knows what the fans want to hear, and he plays up. He'll do the voice and impressions and repeat the classic lines, etc. And he was good fun at Celebration when we found out that Palpatine would be returning with that "roll it again" comment. And Oppo Rancisis adds that Ian McDermott's actually my favorite actor of all time. I think if we do see him in Kenobi, a Spitfire Mark, I think it would be definitely in a more serious tone, if you like, for sure. I feel like this is going to be quite a dark and serious series. Yeah, good question, Glenn, there. And Simon D here. What about a series of Palpy wearing a hard hat trying to get the construction of the Death Star up and running? Yeah, deadlines, people, deadlines. I feel like you and Jane should put your heads together and write something and pitch it to Disney Plus, mate. I don't know what you're talking about, Glenn. What do you want me to watch? I'm going to look it up, see what you guys are talking about. Gaz Nottingham did love Palpatine returning in Traz. For me, it worked perfectly. Ian was great. He was great. And it capped off the saga in such a great way. To me, he is the evil needle threaded throughout. Would love more. I would love more too. And yeah, I think McDermott was great in Traz. Somehow the Geeknd returned. Yeah. Hopefully, I don't have to return during this stream like last week with the terrible technical difficulties. Right. You really need to watch Rebels. What? Okay, I'm going to Power Droid Girl. There's a place Palpy is looking for that is kind of in the Ahsoka series logo. Okay, even though Ahsoka will be set way after Kenobi. Yeah, that's why I was getting confused. Right. I'll look into whatever this is you're all talking about. Hey, Jane, your blog is on my list of things to do this week. I've been at a crazy few weeks here in Ciudad de Mexico. And your writing, in terms of your blog at least, is on my list. And then I'm going to share it on next week's stream as well. So if others, we have shared it in the Discord, the Patreon Discord, but if others want to check it out, I'll share it on the stream and link to it in the video description. Speaking of which, people, I stumbled on a documentary which I have linked to in the video description. It's not new, and it's fan-made, and it's not by me. I'm just going to open it here. I'm not going to play it. I will play a little bit of it, but there won't be any sound. So yeah, it's by Stian A. Olsen, who's got a YouTube channel, and he made this documentary in June 2020, Star Wars Making the Ewok Adventures Part 1, Caravan of Courage. And there is a Part 2 as well, up there as well, which I haven't watched yet. I watched Part 1 last night, and it's really well done, really well done. And, you know, it's quite short too, like 11 minutes, just under 11 minutes. And there's just some nice behind the scenes information on this kind of like, I don't know, you could say little known nugget from the Star Wars universe. You know, this Marmite-like nugget of the Star Wars universe, regardless of what you think about the series, the shows. The documentary is really interesting, you know, to learn about some of the decision making and how George Lucas brought various people involved and the reasons behind it. He really wanted to push people more behind the scenes that had worked on the original trilogy, but maybe sort of lower down the ladder, if you like. He wanted to use this as a springboard for some of those people, and the budget constraints, how they actually recycled props from the original trilogy to use in a different context, sometimes a different species of alien in the Ewoks series adventures, if you like. So it's pretty cool, and I've linked to it in the video description in case anybody wants to go and check it out. Like I say, pretty short, just under 11 minutes, and there's part 2, which I will be watching shortly. And it's well made. It's well made. So well done to I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but Stian, who's got a very northern English accent. It's really nice. Very nice. I feel like I'm listening to Sean Bean. I don't think it was Yorkshire, actually. I think maybe it was more Lancashire. But anyway. Right. So one other thing I want to bring up is, and it really makes me want to make a documentary again. But I'm still hurting from the Empire Strikes Door. I was thinking, I don't know what you guys, because I know most people here know the Empire Strikes Door and have watched it and hopefully enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, do it. Then, I was thinking of like really sort of hammering it down to like a 3-minute version, maybe, that sort of tells the full story, but without the kind of extra details, just to try and sort of get it out there more. But then I'm kind of thinking, but I want people to get all the extra details, you know? But then it is a 40-minute documentary on YouTube and doesn't seem to work so well. So maybe I do need to do this mini kind of like super fast kind of version just for those who have no patience, which is the majority of the internet. Right, let me bring up one more thing which I stumbled across this week, which is pretty cool, I think, anyway. You might disagree, and you'd probably be well placed to. A bit of a Star Wars Game Boy mashup, yeah. This is from NintendoLife.com. Random. Star Wars best droid fused with a Game Boy is surprisingly awesome. Now, I don't know if I agree with best droid, and I don't think Power Droid Girl would agree with this either, but it is definitely surprisingly awesome. You've probably guessed who the droid is, although the color scheme's slightly different. It's K2SO, or at least that type of droid, who we also saw in the Book of Boba Fett, didn't we, in that flashback, the bombing, the Siege of Mandalore. Look at this, man. I assume it's real. It must be real, right? So there's this custom action figure Game Boy mashup, K2SO, aka GameBot, as it says here. I assume it's not real, is it? But I mean, has this person actually made it? Greg Heap. Let's have a look. Has he actually made it, or is it just some sort of impressive graphic design, photoshopping or whatever? Because I do follow Star Wars Photoshop or whatever the account is. Yeah, he's an illustrator, toy designer, so maybe he has designed it actually. I'm looking at his Twitter account now, which is linked to in this article on Nintendo Live. But anyway, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I don't know if there's a way of whether it plays games or not. I don't know how it would play a game. There's no screen for starters, but I just have that. I just have that in my room, and I don't have that many toys. Or do you plug it into a screen and then it plays the games? I don't know. I don't think it's real. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like that. I get confused by technology, but I'm trying to figure out how it works. Anyway, let me go over to the comments. Where was I, everybody? I have no idea. I don't know where I'm going. Only God knows where I've been. I'm a devil on the run, a six-gun lover, a candle in the wind. Name the movie soundtrack. Right. I can see lots of comments about me not watching Rebels again. Right. Okay. I don't know where I was. I don't know where we should pick up. Okay. Well, Clay says, anyway, interesting. We'll watch that docu. Why not, man? It's only 10 minutes, like I said, or just under 11. I can see a lot of comments about Harrison Ford's age, the mystery of which 900 years I can see somewhere. Glenn's already got the doc open in another tab, and like the Ewok movies, you'll definitely like this doc then. Gaz Nottingham says the Empire Strikes Door is great. Thank you, mate. And Glenn watched it last fall. I feel bad. I feel bad, mate. It took you that long to watch it last fall. I think I released it in, I don't know, 2019, maybe. Hey, the Sarge is here. We're talking about nothing, mate. There's nothing to talk about, really. Palpatine maybe showing up in Kenobi. We covered. What else did we talk about? I think that's it. This K2SO Game Boy thing that may or may not be real. And that's kind of it. That's kind of it. But good to see you, Sarge. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, I do have more footage in terms of visiting the Stormtrooper factory, which I've always been meaning to turn into its kind of own standalone thing. But there's a bit of controversy around that with a court case between the guy who, I'm trying to remember his name now, but anyway, a guy who runs the factory now had a court case with Lucas and actually won. So there's sort of potentially I don't know, it would almost be weird putting out the version I have, which was tailored for the Empire Strikes Door, when there's other controversy around it. So it's almost like, do I go back and do it again with that angle? Thanks, Glenn. Glad you like the shirt. Phil says Empire Strikes Door has 24,000 views. That's not too bad, is it? Mate, if you've just clicked on it and let it play for like 10 seconds to check the views, you're damaging it. You're damaging it because it's all about retention, as you should know, Phil, with your own YouTube channel. But hopefully you clicked on Empire Stokes Door instead and messed up that documentary's retention. But no, yeah, 24,000 views is not small. I know. I'm not really complaining. I'm just sort of half thinking of, because it took a lot of time and, you know, a lot of effort, and also with a bit of an Indiegogo thing, people put money into it too. I'm kind of thinking, does it deserve another try? But this time it would have to be a short one, because that's the best. There's no point making it longer, you know. Apart for Jane with the Blu-ray release, I think generally for YouTube there's no point making it longer. Right, I'm working. Hey, is this Eric Walker a YouTube channel? Yeah, he never replied to me when I reached out for an interview. I didn't know he has a YouTube channel. Well, that's another reason to try and get him on, man. Bit of collaboration, cross promotion. Well, actually, some of the footage in the documentary I talked about is from Eric Walker, because apparently somebody involved with the production, whether it was George Lucas or not, I don't know, gave Warwick Davis and Eric Walker a camera. So when they weren't shooting, they would, as a kind of educational thing, if you like, make their own documentary on set for the Ewok movie series thing. Cool, man. Yeah, I will. Thank you, Simon. K2 spliced with a Game Boy. I want one. Don't you want a Gonk Droid one? Sarge says the Empire Strikes Door is my favorite Star Wars related doc, as long as a special edition doesn't eventually surface. Yeah, I'm thinking of a shorter edition, just purely for those without an attention span on YouTube. If you play the Game Boy game, the K2SO Game Boy, does the machine die in the end? Probably. And Power Droid Girl is guest. The movie soundtrack, Young Guns 2. Simon D has gone even more specific. Blaze of Glory, John Bon Jovi, Young Guns 2. Daniel Rigg is here as well over in Canada. He's time traveling. He's time traveling. He's trying to reach us back in real time. You'll have to get a move on, mate. 1.5 times speed might not be enough because we'll be wrapping up very soon because Chad Campbell is here. Chad the Stopwatch Campbell is here in spirit. Right. Yeah, more footage is definitely possible with the Stormtrooper factory. I've said this before in the past, I need to think about how to treat that because of the other controversy around it. Maybe I just focus more on my day there and go more into the process of how they made the outfits rather than going into, well, I can't go into it because I didn't discuss the court case with him because I wasn't there for that. We definitely touched upon it, but again, I was there for the Empire Strikes Door, which had a very different angle. But I've got the hard drive, so I could go back in general and think, what more do I have that makes sense to release as standalone material? To be honest, the way the next few months are looking Star Wars wise, I probably will need to do something like that because I think till we get closer to Kenobi, there's not going to be that much to talk about. Yeah, so anyway, Phil, thank you. Thank you for clarifying it. You didn't click the video, I just found it on your channel page, so your watch time on it is safe. Thank you, Phil. And Phil knows how it works because he's got his own YouTube channel if you're into like Doctor Who and other pop culture stuff. Right, everyone. I'm just heading down the chat. Sorry if I missed anything. Databank Brawl, that is Force Center, isn't it? I was on it once. I did a Databank Brawl with Ken and Joseph at Ken's house in Los Angeles, and we had a little bit of a whiskey to inspire. Yeah, Andrew Ainsworth, thank you, Spitfire Mark. And you might be right. He might have won in the UK then, but lost in terms of international sales then, because he can definitely continue selling the original Stormtrooper armor in the UK. Definitely in the UK. So maybe in the kind of part one. But there is a lot of controversy about that. Yeah, which is why I'm sort of hesitant to release what I've got because, you know, it's very much... I was there for the Empire Strikes Door to actually learn a little bit about the process of forming the suits, but also to wear one myself to get an idea of the visibility or lack of visibility in terms of bumping your head on a door. You know, I wasn't there to kind of cover the history of Andrew Ainsworth. And I know if I release it, I'm going to get loads of people saying, this guy's a fraud. You should have asked him about this, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I need to think about how to do that, to be honest. Right. Is this Andrew Ainsworth, Jane, you're talking about? Selling bobbleheads of Stormtroopers 2. Yeah, I think anything with the original outfit, he seems to be able to get away with. I don't understand it. But Elstree 76 is a great documentary. You do need to get on that. People, if you can. All right, anyone who's still here listening, thank you for joining. Let's finish this because we're under 30 minutes. We'll make Chad happy, even though he's not here really properly. He's only here in spirit, which is very disappointing. And also, it sounds like the building works getting started again. So maybe this is time to wrap up. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope you're all having a nice week so far. And I will see you this time next week. So, yeah, in the meantime, if you want to get in touch about anything, you know where I am. And, yeah, hit like, folks. Hit like from Jane. And Jane, I will be reading your blog between now and the next stream. And we'll share it with the others next week as well. Thank you to Clays. Thank you to everybody. And let's start the wave. Keep waving, everybody. I'm clicking that. Yeah. You wave, all right. I'm clicking the end broadcast button now, okay? So there's the delay. The delay starts now, so keep waving.